All right. Good evening, everybody. This is Plan Your Greatness. And I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. All right. I'm back here in the office. Had a good workout with my daughter earlier today. Getting her back on track as far as getting ready for varsity tryouts. But again, I'm just be a short one here today. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible, but I got some good notes. We're going to do our weigh-in. Again, I have my board over here in the office, and I'm holding steady right. Last time I think I weighed in at 246. I'm around 248. I had a good meal and working out, whatever. So I'm holding steady. I'm below 250. So that's what I'm happy that I'm in the 240s. And so the next goal is keep going and get down into the 230s where I can start fitting into those clothes. Because I think I mentioned this before. I got a whole wardrobe in my closet just waiting for my fat butt to get back into the 230s and 220s. All right, so there we are with the weigh-in. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping. All right, we're still working on the PlanYourGreatness.com website where you're going to be able to get some greatness gear. We're working on the logo. You can actually see the logo back here. This is like the book cover. The book's going to be out pretty soon as well. But we've got the G, and it's going to be modified a little bit. But that's what we're working on. So website is working on. We're working on that. Getting the book copywritten, all the other stuff. Getting the book printed. We're working on all that stuff. So pretty soon you will be able to access the book on iTunes, Soundcloud, Audible. We're going to be available on Facebook. I won't say the book will be there. There'll be like some excerpts, some chapters. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, Google+, Amazon, Tumbler, and ebooks. All those, okay? Everybody's got these different ways on how they access social media or look at stuff. So we're going to try to make sure we cover all of them within reason. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Again, like this video, share this video, subscribe to this video, subscribe to the channel. You'll be able to get some good updates. I'm gonna start bringing a little more fire. All right, I always keep this little bat in the office. I like just having it here. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll walk around and I'll be swinging it in the office just to kill a little bit of time. All right, our topic today is the 9 pillars of success. Now, if you've watched the other videos, you've watched the video where we talked specifically about the 3 questions. We broke them down. So we broke down what it is that you want. You ask yourself this question. Then you ask yourself, why do I want what I want? Then you ask yourself the question, can I see in my mind's eye? Because you can't see it currently because it doesn't exist. But can I see it in my mind's eye what it is that I want? So you ask yourselves the 3 questions. Now, once you have asked and answered those 3 questions and you're starting to move. Now, what that's going to do, that's going to bring about daily behaviors. Those daily behaviors are going to turn into habits. Those habits are going to turn into skills. Those skills are going to turn into knowledge. New knowledge you have, you're going to then now be able to execute. That execution is going to create a whole new character for you, and then what that does, that creates the rest of your life. It creates a positive destiny for yourself. That's what happens when you ask yourself those 3 questions and you put action behind them and you activate them. All right, you then begin to have focus. Your faith gets stronger, and we're not talking about like biblical faith. We're just talking about just faith and belief in what you can do. And what that also does is get all the little side distractions out of there, and you know exactly where you go. You have some direction. All right. So with that, you also become a tool, because without it, you are being utilized by other people who have asked themselves what they want, why they want it, and they can see it in their mind it coming. So as they're going along, they recognize the people that they can utilize, not using people, but utilizing them. So when you ask yourself that question, you have the daily habits and patterns and stuff that you've gotten set in your life, you become a tool for yourself. It's like somebody who has a tool but now allows themselves to work for a company. When you know what you have, you become a tool for yourself, and you market your services to get paid full value for what you know. All right. So you become a tool for yourself. You utilize others. And now as you have that set in place, you need some things, some wisdom to actually, that you're able to sit. Let me put this over here. You're able to sit your 3 questions on top of these 9 pillars of success. All right. So let me go down the list of them. We're only going to cover 1 through this quick video series. But the 9 pillars are, number 1 is you show up and show out at your job. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. You stop lying to yourself is number 2. You give all your goals a very specific deadline. Number 4 is you make no more excuses. Number 5 is you master the gift of you. Number 6 is no plan B. Number 7 is you trust your mind's eye. Number 8 is don't be afraid to fail. And number 9 is maximize your day the night before. Okay? And we're going to go through all 9 of them. But today we're going to start out with going through number 1, which is showing up and showing out. All right. Woody Allen, I read that they asked Woody Allen, like, why is he so successful? And Woody Allen, let me see, I think we might have a little more better volume. Let me get the microphone in there. All right. So Woody Allen says that he believes that 80% of success is just showing up. Now, I agree to some degree what he says as far as that yeah, 80% is showing up. But this is what I've noticed in my life. I've noticed individuals that have just told themselves that it's okay to just show up and just, I'm here. Yeah, and this is what we've all heard this before. At least I showed up. What does that mean? That means you just were there. All right. So that's the 80% of it. Now there's 20% between 80 and 100. So my understanding is, as what Woody Allen says, if 80% of success is showing up, okay, you've shown up. Now, if you show up, you get 85% of the opportunities. But if you show up on time, I believe you'll get 85% of the opportunities. So if you show up on time and you show up on time with a plan, I believe you'll get 90% of the opportunities. So then if you show up on time with a plan, with a desire and a passion to carry out that plan, I think you'll get 95% of the opportunities. So if you show up on time with a plan, with a desire and enthusiasm to carry out that plan, and an enthusiasm to carry out that plan in the spirit of excellence, I believe you'll get 100% of the opportunities. But we'll go right back to Woody Allen. First and foremost, you do need to show up. But all that other stuff is you're showing up and you're showing out. All right. So I'm right along with Woody Allen, but we must add in the other things that are very important. You just can't show up. You got to show up and show out. All right. Now, Napoleon Hill talks specifically in his book, The Law of Success, about doing more than you're getting paid for, because then eventually you'll get paid for more than what you do. All right. He tells a little bit of story on how he was able to get into an advertising company because he was able to cut out ads that he noticed in the paper, send them into the company and show maybe where they can make some corrections. They ended up hiring him. All right. So I use that as an example because I believe when you are working for somebody and you feel that you're not being compensated at the level that you want to be compensated, or you think you deserve more, I think you're missing the point at that point, because you have to believe that you are operating and your resume is out there on what I call the universal job board. Because if you are honestly working and producing more than your job requires, and you're really in this mindset that, hey, this company either is going to pay me for what I'm doing, or somebody else out there in the universe of jobs is going to then feel my vibration and offer me a job. It's going to come about. I believe you have to be thinking in that regard, that whenever you're working and you start doing more than that job is either going to compensate you because they feel they need you, or somebody else within the universe is going to feel that vibration and come and give you a job. I honestly believe that. All right. So I'll give you a little story. When I first got out of prison, a friend of mine, John, worked at this golf course. He said, "Hey, do you need a job?" Yes, I did. I'm just not getting out of prison. Not a lot of people are hiring convicted felons. So he gives me this job, and within the first 3 days was training. And this guy did a masterful job of training me for that job. And there was something always in the back of my mind, the things he was saying, he made sure that he put an emphasis on timing, detail, not wasting time over here. There were good little girls. There were these hot little girls that were running around the golf course in these golf carts. And anybody who's worked at a golf course or golf, I'm not a golfer, you see these cart girls driving around, with cold beverages, hot as hell, big old breasts and all, just looking. I mean, you're not going to hire an ugly girl at the golf course. So what he was sharing with me was, you do not have a lot of time to be dilly-dallying around on this golf course. It may seem like it, beautiful grass, or you're outdoors, but there is a system that you must adhere to. And so I really took, I really listened to his message, because on the fourth day, which would have been my first day of working without being trained, he didn't show up. Soon as I got there, they told me, "Hey, Dennis," I think his name was, he quit. And they said, "We don't have anybody that we can bring in that can work that shift with you. So you're going to be working from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. all by yourself." So thank God this dude gave me the training, and thank God what I had in my mind was, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to do the best job. And matter of fact, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out. And so for almost a month before they hired anybody, I was working that shift, which required two people, because one person works from 7 to 10, and then from 10 to 4, somebody else comes in and helps you out, because that's a busy time. So from 10 to 4, I needed a second person, but I was working it all by myself. Super efficient. So here's what happened after 3-4 weeks. I'm walking on the property. They finally hire a second person. The director of golf comes up to me and says, "Carlton, come here." I don't know what he's going to ask. So I walk over and, "Hey, what's up, Doc?" And he says, "Have you been working this shift by yourself all this time?" And I didn't even bat an eye. I said, "Yeah." And he rubbed his head, he rubbed his chin, and just walked off. And then I walked away. And I could just tell he was like, "We didn't even know you were working it. This is a 2-man shift and you were working it by yourself." All right. So here's what lesson learned came out of that. I eventually, because I was working for 2 people. Eventually, I got a job at Arizona State University that paid me almost twice what I was getting paid at the golf course. You see what I'm saying? I didn't complain, and I just said, all right, I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to do a great job. And the universe responded by giving me a job, which I had to do less work, and I was getting paid more. I had not really even thought about that until I was writing this, as far as how those things came in line. But again, when you show up and show out, and if you're asking and you want to be compensated for more than what you are doing, then you need to be doing more on that job. Universe will respond to that. It has to. All right. So got the job at ASU, and one of the things that I learned from that is, when people are fed up, they have a choice. And the term that comes to mind that was brought to my attention, it's called inspirational dissatisfaction. That is when you are fed up, you are disgusted, you make a decision on what you're going to do, you create this desire, and then you have a resolve to figure it all out. Those are the 4 steps of inspirational dissatisfaction. Now, that's what carries people through. If you're going to show up and show out at a place, and you look, okay, wait a minute. All right, I'm fed up with this. I think I should be getting paid more. You get disgusted with that. You make a decision, and then you create this desire and the resolve to make it happen. That's exactly what I did. But I didn't necessarily get fed up. But that's what energizes people who, when they look around and they want to show up and show out, and they're looking, if that makes sense. All right, so let me get back on track here. When I was in prison, or actually I was in jail, I had that moment. I had a moment of inspirational dissatisfaction. That was when my lawyer came into my cell. Well, actually not my cell. I had a visit with her, and she told me, she said, "Mr. Hamilton," it went very much like this: "Mr. Hamilton, are you of sound mind?" And I looked at her like, yes. And she said, "Good, because the information that I'm about to share with you is very important. Mr. Hamilton, based on your crime, you are facing a minimum of 19 years and a maximum of 67 years. And this was my look. Frozen. I tell you right now, I don't even know exactly what she said after that. And so after that visit was over, I walked back to my cell. Longest, loneliest walk of my life at that particular time. I get back to my cell, and luckily for me, my cellmate is not there. So I collapsed to my knees and I began talking to myself. I said, "God, I have done everything in my power to put myself in this position right here." I said, "I made so many mistakes, and at this point, I'm putting everything in your hands." I said, because evidently everything that I've done up until this point has not worked. I said something very much in the book. You'll see almost exactly what I said word for word, and it's in the journal as well. And so from that point, I had what was called inspirational dissatisfaction, because I began to become very self-aware of who I was. I began to reverse engineer how I got to where I was in prison and tried to figure out the steps on what I need to do to get out. I read, I took counseling classes, I did everything that I need to, because I was fed up. Again, I was disgusted with where I was. I made a decision that that when I got out of prison, I was going to be better. I created this and desire in myself and a resolve to make that happen, because I was working at it every single day. Now, here's what's interesting. I went into prison with a 1.5 grade point average graduating from high school. Had not finished college. I really didn't have any marketable skills that were recognizable. But I worked very hard as far as reading, writing, taking college courses. So I began to create some skills. That skills excited me, that I became very passionate about learning a lot. That passion then gave me a purpose. I said, my purpose is to get out of here and become something better than I was. And that purpose gave me a sense of fulfillment, because when I got out, I had a business certificate in hand that I was able to apply to the community college, eventually go on to the university and get my degree from Arizona State University. Basically, I showed up and showed out in prison. Now, that created a whole new set of goals, and it created a whole new person. That individual that walked out of prison absolutely wasn't the same person that walked into prison. Absolute scary as I think about who that person was going in to turning into the person that came out. And again, as far as showing up and showing out, I have to mention that is such a difficult thing that I was doing on trying to rewire and reprogram yourself at the age of 33. That's almost unheard of. That's almost impossible. I was basically learning a new language. All right. So All that is being connected to the first pillar that you use to support your 3 questions. Is that anything that you are doing, you tell yourself you are going to show up, you are going to show out. You're not going to make any excuses. All right. So as we come to a close here, this is what my challenge to you is. Ask yourself the 3 questions. Okay, you know what pillar number 1 is, that is show up and show out, but you must ask yourself the 3 questions first before that pillar has anything to support. All right, you show up, you show out. All right, you like this page, you subscribe to this page, and you share this page. All right, because this is Plan Your Greatness, because no one else will. I'm gonna say it again. Plan your greatness because no one else will. All right, this is Carlton with Plan Your Greatness. Hey, looking right at you. I'll see you guys soon.